All right, Haymakers, it's Coach Nathan here. We've done a really good job working on the box plus one, working on our very conservative defensive pattern, and I think you all got that system pretty well understood on where to be and what to be looking for. Need to make sure we're maintaining that tight five-card formation and really not only being in charge of your zone of coverage, but making sure you're picking up a man and assessing the threats that are going on. Um, so it's a little bit of a dance, and we're going to help you on the bench. Talking about what are you reading, how are you reacting to it, so we can kind of help to hone your hockey sense and your ability to defend the net, which is, in my opinion, one of the most important things you do in hockey. So, like we stated before, the purpose of defense is to, number one, prevent a goal, and number two, to gain control of the puck. We're trying to gain back control of the puck in our defensive pattern, and forcing that turnover, using that force versus contain on the boards. And we're going to start working more on that turnover, forcing that turnover and trying to get that puck back. But what we want to start to talk about is the breakout. Breakout is moving the puck out of our zone in an organized manner so that we can actually build an attack going into the other person's zone, the attack zone, neutral zone and the attack zone. So in the past, kind of what's happened is there's been a turnover, and somebody grabs the puck. Maybe there's a pass, but generally we just try to skate it up the ice. One person. A lot of times the fastest kid on the ice on that team will be waiting there in the wings, and he'll grab that puck and skate it out of the zone as fast as he can, right towards the other net, take a shot. Maybe he makes it, maybe he doesn't. So that's mite and squirt hockey. And that's even some levels, beginning levels of Pee Wee hockey. But in the select level and on the travel level, an attack like that for most times is not going to work. Now, I'm not saying there's not room for breakaway and a talented player to take it up the ice, but that shouldn't be what our team is relying on. One of the big reasons is we're facing teams that have fast skaters and have talented skaters, and they have a system for forechecking, which is basically the defense against the breakout is the forecheck. Okay? So the defense against the attack is our box plus one or some system down there. The defense against a breakout is the forecheck. So you're going to have somebody coming in with an organized forecheck, and you need to have options and ways to get this puck out of our zone as a team. I do want to split up two things, though, and that's kind of above the circles play and below the circles play. Now, above the circles play, if you are able to force a turnover above the circles, either in the defensive zone or in the attack zone, those are a high. That's a high scoring opportunity right there. If you turn the puck over above the circles, between the blue line and the circles, it's a great time to get a jump on the defense for a one-on-one, one-on-two opportunity. So the breakout that we're talking about is generally the one that, in the transition of the breakout, is low in the zone. When we have to work it, battle in the corner to get control of the puck, and we need to go 100 feet to the other side of the ice, how are we going to do this? But high in the zone, a lot of times we can pass back to the defense, we can start a breakout on our zone, but high in the zone, generally we're going to follow that 10-foot rule. That 10-foot rule is if you're within 10 feet of the blue line, you get it over the blue line. Get it out of the zone, skate it into the neutral zone, have some neutral zone play, some passing, but just really you want to turn it into attack and get that rush. If you're able to turn it over on a DDD pass, you have a rush up there. If you're able to pick it off someone's stick way up at the top of the circles, you have momentum and you have a rush. You just need to take it. So the transition to breakout is always that I'm talking about. The organized breakout is going to be below the circles, usually in the corner, the kind of battle low in the zone. All right, I'm going to go through and start getting on the computer and show you exactly the transition part we're talking about. And then we're going to start to talk about options, all the different options, and we're actually going to put color coding to those options so that we can all think about them in an organized manner. And we can even call those codes out depending on what the other team is doing. This is a very important thing that we're going to spend some time on that I want you to understand. The breakout is as a concept. There's a lot of thinking in hockey, and I want you guys to learn to think the game. Okay? So take your time, watch these videos a couple times. All right, so here we are in the attack zone, or in the defensive zone. I'm going to put a couple players out here. We have our defensive player on the weak post. We're going to have our center covering that strong post. And we're going to have our second defensive player out here challenging in the corner if that's where the puck is. Now, really in the initial stages of the breakout, these are the only three people involved in this breakout. Defense, center, and another defense. Strong side, weak side, center taking the strong side post. And there's a reason for all these people to be where they are. One thing I'm seeing in this is I'm seeing our defense slide up here a lot, all right, and sliding way over to this side, leaving the weak side open. That's a dangerous thing. I want you to be back here more to the weak side. Certainly pick up threats, but all alone, you need to be back here more on the weak side so you can see a lot of the ice and you can be available for different parts of the breakout. All right, so what happens a lot of times right now, like I said, is when it gets deep in the zone, the defense takes this puck and he slaps it up here as hard as he can, hoping to hit somebody. And at this level, the defense from the other team is going to be covering that point and is going to send it right back in. So really slapping it out of the zone or hammering it down, hoping your forward is on the boards, isn't really what we want to be teaching here. We want to teach a more organized way to take care of this. So initially, when there's a turnover and the defense collects the puck, what we want to kind of get you to think about is skating towards the area called the quiet zone. And the quiet zone is basically this area behind the net right here. This is the quiet zone. And the reason it's referred to as the quiet zone, and I have to first say that, you know, Weiss Tech Hockey, Jeremy Weiss is the one who a really good read on a lot of this stuff, and he calls it the quiet zone, and I like the way he talks about it. This is an area where basically you're not going to find opposing players unless the puck is there. They're not going to, really nobody's going to be here, all right? And making a movement towards that quiet zone, that no shooting area, the place you really can't score and there's no players, also gives you options, all right? So the first thing this defense is going to do here with the puck is he's going to get that puck and he is going to be skating towards the quiet zone, right like this, okay? Now, a lot of times you are going to have forecheckers. You're going to have people from the other team that are pressuring you down here. So we're going to put somebody in here that's pressuring. So when this skater comes down here to pressure, there's really two different ways he's going to come through and pressure. He's either going to pressure from the inside shoulder, so he's going to come through and pressure this way on the player, on your skater. And if that happens, if that comes and he's pressuring, trying to get the puck from you, this is one of the reasons we practice these. The defensive player can make a really neat option here. He can basically make an escape, right, like that, and then he has options to pass either. He has options to pass that puck either to your winger or to your center, who's going to be breaking up the center. And this is where we kind of started talking about these breakout systems and these color-coded breakouts. And I'm going to go over these. But the defense, you got to first say, is he feeling that pressure on the outside shoulder? And if so, then he can make that escape, turn a quick turn there, and look to make that pass. That way, this player is taken out of the play, putting over here, putting on the weak side here, and you have two available options: the center who breaks up and the winger who's coming down here to collect that pass. Okay, so that's that outside or inside out pressure. The inside of the ice here between the dots, kind of inside, pushing you out towards the wall, escape, and look for one of your two passes. Another way this player is going to come at you is through what's called backside pressure. And this is when that player is going to be skating up behind you and kind of chasing you like that. That's backside pressure. So this kind of an easy answer here. If the defense is feeling that backside pressure, what you can do is you can just skate right behind the net like that. And now at the other side of the net, you can look for the same passing options as you had before. And when that happens, when you feel that, when this defense, the weak side D recognizes it, he's going to be backing up while the center is going to be breaking out towards this area in order to be an option for that pass. That defense, that weak side D, is now going to be switching sides to make sure he has coverage over here. Don't jump out too early because he is being chased, and if there's a turnover, you got to be careful. So you want to make sure to guard the puck. But this is where that defense can basically switch sides with him. Okay. The other option that you have, and we'll kind of go into a little bit of a forechecking pattern here. Let's say you have two players, and they are both in what's called a 2-1-2 stack. They're both coming after the defense over here. Okay. Now, if we have two players attacking over here, and usually one, in the attack triangle up high, or one foozing up here, this defense is generally going to be open because your other defense are here. So this defense can now call for a pass, and this is where this defense can basically, if he's on that weak side post, he can jump down there, and then we basically make a bank pass to him. And then from this area, we now have the same passing options right here. Okay? This center stays here for support on the D-man, close side support to help him out. So that's one way here. That's another option you can do is that D-to-D pass if you're being pressured by two players over on this side. Because this other D-man is going to be open. He should be watching that pressure and saying, hey, 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 calling for that puck. Let's talk about another option. Another thing that can be happening is you can have a 2-1-2 stack, basically, or a spread, and this is where you have a defensive man down, a forechecker down here cutting off this pass, right? And then you have this forward kind of forcing or containing this guy, trying to cut him off, and then you have your third forechecker foozing usually up here in the corner. So in this one, you kind of have to read the outside in pressure again. If it's an inside pressure right there, again, the puck carrier, the defensive man, can go towards the quiet zone, and he's going to see that he's going to be cut off here, and this guy is pressuring him inside out, right? Then it's the same as we talked about before, where, I messed everything up there, where basically this defensive man can make an escape, right, like that, and then look to make that pass up the boards or pass to the center. Now, a lot of times if it's a smart forechecker and he knows he's doing a 2-1-2, this guy is actually going to be providing backside pressure. So he's going to be doing that backside pressure here. And this is where, right like that, trying to push him into this other defense here to get cut off. So if this happens, then the play can be, the center can read this 2-1-2 spread and the fact that there's backside pressure coming, and there can actually be a nice, easy little cycle drop pass here, and the center actually coming down to pick that up. And then the center can either make a pass to the boards, or the center can skate out of the zone. Okay? kind of complex, and you can see, but you can see that by the setup down low of having the defense where they're supposed to be, having the center where they're supposed to be, and skating towards this quiet zone, it gives you a lot of options that you can start to think about, and that a team of defense, center, and defense can read what the other team is doing and look to make a play. Look to get the puck, get to the right person where we can break it out of the zone, a couple quick passes, and get it out. This is transition from box plus one going on to our breakout, skating towards the quiet zone, reading what's going on, communicating with each other on what we should be doing, and either making a pass, skating it, making an escape, really helping each other out. So there are a lot of different options. The next thing that we're going to go into is, and I'll do this in a separate video, is the color coding of the different passings and different options on this breakout that you can do, so that everybody is thinking that along the same means, and we can call it from the ice or from the bench on which breakout we want to do, reacting to what the other team is doing.